guys, welcome back to Maxy's Kitchen. Now this is the fourth episode of my Food Mass 2021 series, and on this episode we're going to be making red velvet cheesecake. Now I'm not going to talk you through each and every step because I've put everything in the description, but I'm going to explain some things to you because some of them are very detailed and I need to talk you through them. And later on in this video as well, I'll give you instructions on how to enter into the giveaway for this recipe video. You guys should know by now that I'm doing a giveaway for every recipe video that I upload on YouTube. So yeah, I'll give you that later in the video, so keep watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and all of that. Now, you guys can use a hand mixer for this. You don't have to use a stand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer, you would have to use a whisk, but you would have to do a lot of work mixing everything together. And also, when you're adding the eggs, please add them one at a time. And I used 4 eggs, but I used 3 whole eggs and just the yolk from 1 egg. So make sure you do that as well. Now, I used sour cream. That's the first option I would go for. And the second option is cream fresh. If you don't have sour cream or cream fresh, just use Greek yogurt. It would work well. So yeah. I also used vanilla, the seeds of a vanilla pod. So I just wanted that vanilla look. I just wanted to see each and every vanilla seed in my cheesecake. And they give you a really nice and intense vanilla flavor. But if you don't have it, just use vanilla essence or vanilla extract. That would do. So I'm just adding flour to stabilize the cheesecake and just to make it steady, to hold it together. I've seen people use cornstarch, but don't worry about that. You can just use plain flour for this. I've mixed everything and everything is looking really creamy, really smooth and very lush as well. So we're going to transfer this into the cake tin. Now what I did is that I brushed the cake tin with some oil. You can use butter as well, and I lined it with parchment paper on the base and on the sides as well. Then I poured the cheesecake batter into the tin. Now you want to wrap the cheesecake tin, you want to wrap the cake tin with foil. Now I used about 8 layers of foil because I didn't want to risk it. You know, if you don't do it very properly, we're going to bake this in a water bath. I'll talk about that later, but the water is going to seep into the cake tin and your cheesecake is going to be ruined, and you do not want that. So please make sure you use as much foil as possible to make sure that everything is really tight and secure. So to the water bath, you would need to put your cheesecake into a roasting tin or a deep baking tray, like the one I have here, and you're going to pour very, very hot water into the baking tray or the deep baking tray or the roasting tin. So this is going to be the water bath we're going to cook our cheesecake in. The water bath is to help regulate the temperature of the oven so that you get a nice and even layered cheesecake like this one. Now after your cheesecake has baked, you would have to open the oven, turn the oven off, and leave it in for 45 minutes. It's supposed to be a bit jiggly and a bit wobbly at the center. And then after you've rested it for 45 minutes, you can take it out, cover it with a cling film, and put it in the fridge to rest overnight. You want it to rest for that long because you want it to be very steady when you open it. You also want to use a springform pan for your cheesecake so you can easily open it and take your cheesecake out once you're done. Now, this is buttermilk, so we made our own buttermilk from milk and vinegar. because I know it will be hard to find in Ghana, so just make your own buttermilk. Now, please do not use Dutch processed cocoa powder. I know a lot of people think that's best for red velvet cake, but please, it is not. It would just make your red velvet cake have like some brown bits, and we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. So please stick to natural cocoa powder. We have a lot of different brands in Ghana that you can use, so please stick to that. We're using 2 eggs, but always add your eggs in one at a time. Don't add all the 2 at a go. Make sure you add them one at a time. I think I'll just go ahead and give you the instructions for this giveaway. So the first thing you need to do is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Maxy's Kitchen. You're already here, so please subscribe if you haven't. The second thing, and you actually need to send me evidence that you have subscribed. You need to send the evidence to me on Instagram at Maxy's_kitchen. The second thing you need to do is to follow my Instagram page, of course, Maxy's_kitchen. And the third thing you need to do is comment below one thing that you want to do before this year ends. So first thing, subscribe to the channel, send me evidence. Second thing, follow Maxy's Kitchen on Instagram. Third thing, comment below on this video one thing you want to do before the year ends. Now back to the cake. Now you guys realize that I added in my red food color. This is such an important part of making red velvet cake. You want to make sure that you're using red food color only in the form of gel, or if it's a paste, you have to mix it with a bit of water like I did. So my food color was in the form of paste, so I just added a bit of water just to make it liquid, and then I added it to my mixture. Now you need to add as much red food color to make your cake batter red. It has to be very red before you bake it, because you're going to add cocoa powder and that's brown. So if you don't really use a lot of color to get that red look I'm talking about, after baking your cake you would get like brown pieces in your cake. I did this red velvet cake last year and I didn't really read a lot about red velvet cakes, so I didn't know what I was doing and I ended up with like a partly brown cake. You don't want that, so please make sure you add a lot of red food color. Also, after you've mixed everything together, you're going to add hot water to your cake. So this is going to make your cake very moist. Make sure you don't skip this step. Your cake might bake for longer or shorter depending on the type of oven that you use. After 45 minutes, just insert a toothpick at the very center of the cake, and if it comes out clean, then it's done. So mine didn't come out completely clean, but it was almost there, and I wanted it just like that because I wanted it to be very moist. One thing you guys should know about me by now is that I don't really give a measurement for cream cheese frosting. I just eyeball everything. I don't like a lot of sugar, so I just use a little. I know a lot of people use a lot of sugar to make the frosting more runny. That's if you're using it for something like a glaze for cinnamon rolls and all that. But yeah, I generally do not like a lot of sugar, so I just add a little bit of icing sugar. Double cream or whipping cream isn't normally used for cream cheese, like typical cream cheese frosting doesn't have it, but I make it this way and I find out that it's actually richer than the butter and cream cheese thing. So yeah, just stick to this recipe, but just eyeball everything like I have done. So it's done and we're going to frost our cake now. So actually I made the cream cheese frosting the next day. So this is the next day and I've taken my cheesecake out of the fridge. This is the reason why I said you need a springform pan for the cheesecake, because you just need to open it up and then take the cheesecake out. You can't flip the tin over and take the cheesecake out. You'll ruin it. So a springform pan is best for this. So we're going to set the cheesecake aside and I'm going to start building my cake. Now this isn't something I do. I'm not very trained at this, but I just had to put the cake together. So yeah, you just need to put some of the cream cheese frosting at the bottom, put the first layer of cake. Oh, and guys, actually I trimmed my cake a bit. So I took the sides off and all of that just to make it, look very good. And to make sure that I had a layered look, so the top won't be looking too like bulky. So my cheesecake broke a bit when I was assembling it, but that's no problem at all. Like, I just patched it up with some of the cream cheese frosting and I put my second layer of red velvet cake on top and frosted the entire cake with the cream cheese frosting. I did a first layer, put it in the fridge to rest a bit, and I did a final layer. And I also piped I did this with the rest of the cream cheese frosting. I piped some petals on the sides of the cake to make it look very pretty. And I had some extra cake left, so I crumbled the cake up and I just put it at the very center of the cake. Like I said, I'm not a professional. That's why you can see bits of the cake mixed with the frosting, but that's okay. Like, we just care about the taste of the cake. We're home bakers, right? So yes. Okay guys, maybe those aren't petals, but they're like little flowers. They're very pretty. I really like them. So I added a few sprigs of rosemary to give it a Christmassy look, and I also sprinkled over some icing sugar to give it like a snowy effect. I really liked how it turned out and it was so good. It was so moist. The cheesecake was so smooth. Oh my god guys, it was super smooth and it was so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to try this recipe, and I can't wait to give one person a slice of this cake to taste for the giveaway, so please enter. Thank you so much for always sticking to the end, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.